Hey, I wanted to take a quick minute and talk with you about how this picture works and show you a little trick I think might help your layouts. So I have this work here open. I'm going to press Command minus to see the whole thing in my window here. And what I'm going to do is draw out like a center marker and do that, all right? I can drag out from my rulers and do that. Now I'm going to press Command quote, and that's going to open up my own grid that I've established. That's a rule of thirds grid. You can't really see it so well here, but trust me, it's in there. And so what's happening is we have a low perspective on this image. And if you remember the rule of perspectives and that single point perspective, the lines, the diagonal in this picture is moving towards a single point on the horizon. And so we kind of see that happening with, with the siding and the angles happening here. And one of the things that we can do with Photoshop is change that perspective to kind of bring it forward to make all those lines look really straight. What I've done here is opened up this document, drawn my guide, turned on my grid, and now I'll copy the layer because I want to show you the difference. After I've copied the layer, I'm going to name it. I'm going to call it perspective change. And I'm going to come in here, having selected all of it, and choose edit, transform, perspective. And so what we want to do here is bring it forward. And the way that we're going to do that, right, we're kind of lifting it up towards ourselves. I'm going to grab this corner and I'm going to stretch it out. You see what's happening? That's pretty good. You can see like the siding, the line on the siding is level. The shutters on the windows are level, and that looks pretty good. And so, you could change that however you need to, bring it one side or the other towards you. But just to bring it forward and make your lines more straight up and down, this is something you can do and consider when you're in your work. Now, I'm going to press return to commit this. And so now maybe you see that I changed the perspective, but I've also got the person standing there, and that person has been made like squat, right? Kind of shrunk vertically. So what I'm going to do to fix that, first I'll turn this off, the perspective change layer. I'll call this background, and I'm going to go ahead and press Command semicolon to turn off those ruler guides, and Command quote to turn off the grid. Command plus to zoom in a couple of times. And so here I have this person. I'll use the object selection tool to select this. Didn't get the flowers. We want those too. Click. And so now we have that whole person and flowers selected. I'll press Command J, and now I've created a layer with that selection that is just the person. So, right, and the person carrying the flowers here is the right, shape, instead of kind of squished like this. But I can't just place it over because, right, we could still see the original one. So I'll turn this person, all right? Turn that off. And what I'm going to do here on this perspective change layer is use the remove tool and just paint over this person on this layer. Just kind of paint the paint over. Hey, it looks pretty good, except that looks terrible in the middle. So I'll just do it again. That's better. And we're not even going to see a bunch of this, right? I'll make a little smaller brush to kind of get rid of this second doorknob here. There we go. All right. I turn the person back on. Voila. I might need to press the V key for move and kind of maybe set them down on a different step. Command 0 to see the whole thing. And so there we go. I've straightened it up. I've straightened the perspective, and I've replaced the person with a non-squished version. You can see too, though, that I also squished the letters here. So we might need to do another maneuver for those, where maybe, let's see if it's going to work if I just mask out this part of this layer, and then we would see what was behind them. Make sure black is your foreground color. Right, here's the original letters. Right, as I mask out parts of this, they're not going to line up anymore, right? Because we've changed the perspective. So let's get rid of those. Command Z, Z. Now we're back to normal. I could try the remove tool again and just kind of paint out the text here if I wanted to start over. You know, in your case, you wouldn't start with it like this. You would fix the perspective before you place the text, right? So you wouldn't have to do this, but I'll show you regardless. You know, the remove tool works pretty well now. Take out those little red doodads. And now we can come in here and replace the text however we wanted, right? There you go. And like I said, you can replace the text any way you like. Here's the before and after, before. Get some text in, blow this up a little bit. Oops, make a copy of it. Drag it over here. Let's take this down. There we go. Deselect that, and I think I had just made it up 42. Great. I've turned my perspective change layer back on. I'm now in my text here, and I'm going to take these and press Command G to group them together. Then I'll press my text tool, T, select one of these, and change the color to that yellow. Okay. I'll do the same for the other side piece of text by clicking off of that text and choosing this color, pressing OK, and there we go. Then we could put a drop shadow on this text. But first of all, let's try to make it a little thicker. I don't think Georgia was the right font for this, but it's the one I'm going to use. And then bold. Drag this down on the line, the baseline, right? They share a baseline with each other. Now I can go ahead and add in that drop shadow again. Press Command +++ to get the color that I want. I'll click to select the eyedropper. Click on that red right there. Turn this layer back on again. Command -- so I can see it, or Command 0 to see it all on the screen. I am going to come to one of my text layers, choose FX, and then drop shadow. Pick this color and then the background color I just chose. Distance will be maybe 10. Change the angle a little bit to be coming from above and to the left of them. Spread, I think, is less, and size is also less. Right, I'm trying to make it a little harder edged. There we go. Just getting a better look at that here. What we might want to do with it. Okay. 10-10-6. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And what I'll do here, as I select that text, actually, instead of selecting this text and doing the operation over, I can go to this effects item here in the layers, press Option, click on it, and then just drag those effects up to my other piece of text. And so now that I've copied the effects to the other side of the text, I'll look at this again. I can place those pieces of text anywhere I want, and I'll put the person back in as well. Command 0, I'll press the Tab key so we can see it all. Command 0 again. The Tab key cycles through these view options. So here is our finished example, and this is before and after. I didn't do the text exactly the same way, but you would have changed the perspective before you would have added the text in. So I tried to mimic as well as I could. Command 0, F, Tab. I think that looks pretty good. So I just wanted to show you an option that you have to change the perspective as if the viewpoint of the camera has changed. So use that transform perspective tool if it does what you want it to do. And I hope that helps.